Be editing it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show how to make a core or demonstrate how to pin an interchangeable core. This is what we use here in our place. It's an industry standard, and there's different brands that do the exact same thing. So first of all, you're going to have to know what core you need to make. In our case, I will pull up the software that has our database for all of our different buildings. And I'm just going to randomly pick a building that I know and make a core. You'll have to know what your building is or specific core that you're making. So I'm going to highlight that building. And when I do, this little chart shows up. It's a pinning chart. If I change to a different one, the numbers all change. So you have to be positive you're on the right core that you need. And in my case, I'm going to make my MD33. What you see across here is a series of numbers. The bottom numbers are the bottom pins, and then 3 pins on top. So this corresponds to this core. And I always hold it this way on purpose because that's the alignment that it goes. 7 holes, 7 rows of numbers. So what you do is, in the pinning kit, down here on the bottom, these are the bottom pins. They go across from here to here. It's a 0 through a 9. These are pointed. There's a little point on the bottom. It's easier to see on the bigger ones. The main thing is, bottom pins go in first, top pins go on top of that. But when the bottom pins go in, that point has to go down. Now, before I start, I've come to the conclusion that it's better to stamp the code in before you make the core. You can do it afterwards. I recommend doing it beforehand. So I've got my little stamp here. And by the way, I usually protect my ears because this is kind of loud. Okay. Now, besides the tweezers, the only other tool I really use is this little push pin. You got to make sure that when you start, the inside, that you got that so the holes are completely open. There's a piece in there that slides around. If I turn the key way, the pins won't drop in all the way. So this needs to be lined up. And even though the keyway is vertical there, what's inside here might be slightly off center. If it gets to be a problem, one way or another, you got to get it so that it's basically close enough. There, now I can get the pin in, and now I'm fine. Since there's 7 different holes we're putting pins in, and it's easy to get lost, I made a habit early of pointing at the hole that I'm working with my thumbnail. That little piece in there might move around. I'll have to deal with it later. I'm starting on the left, which is the back, pin number 1. Now I'm not going to say every single name, but I'm starting off with a bottom pin, and the point goes down, and it goes in the first hole. So I got a 1, 6, 10, 6. Now I'm going to the top. Everything except that bottom row, those are top pins that go from number 2 up through, what is that, a 19. Our system really stops at about 15 at this point. So I'll probably stop talking here for a minute, or mostly. So a 6, 10, 6 is what's coming up next. Number 6. You have to use the tweezers, by the way. Otherwise, this is impossible. You just have to learn how to do it. 6. Hole number 2, I move my thumb. It just helps me remember where I'm at. 4, 2, 9, 8. Bottom pin is 4. I've got a few 2s here. I usually put out some 2s because you use a lot of them. These are paper thin. 2, 9, 8, 6, 2, 5, 10. Four, 2, 13, 4. One, 4, 10, 8. Three, 2, 6, 12. And 4, 2, 8, 9. Okay, here's the only tricky part. You use the push pin for 2 things. First of all, make sure the pins are all down. This one's feeling different. Hear that little chunk? They were sitting up higher. Pin number, or hole number 3 didn't go down all the way. Still not feeling it. So first you push the pins down, then you measure to see if they're all the same depth. They should be. So you're using this just like a dipstick. You're sticking it in and you kind of pinch it gently. The back of it's pushing against my hand really gently. That's my measurement, my depth measurement. 3 is off, I can feel it. 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 2 things I could possibly do here. One is push hard. It's still not going. The other would have been, if it went in, here's the other one. Since it didn't do anything, I'm going to start over with that one. I'm pushing them out gently. There's a couple of possibilities. One is there's too many pins in there, and one is it just didn't go down all the way. So I'm going to put those in again, and this time it's a 6, 2, 5, 10. I'm double checking. 6. This time I'm going to make sure at each pin that it's all the way down. Gently. 2, 5, 10. There's 2. Here's the 5. There. That might have been what it was. Now it feels the same depth to me. So Make sure they're all pushed down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slip it into the capper. This machine just seals the caps in. I need a spring for each hole. Just to drop them lightly. I count them as I go. If you see a squirrely looking spring, it's bent, it's crooked, don't use it, throw it away. It's important to get only the right number of pins and only one cap per hole. These are the caps right here. So I cover the hole when I drop them on the tray. Otherwise, one might randomly roll in and just I have to get it out then. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if I want to, I don't have to do this little step here. I'm just going to make sure these two are flat. This one's looking a little funny. It'll go down when I put this machine, this is supposed to be attached. But what kept happening was, even though I tighten it down, it would fall off at just the wrong time. So I leave it off now, and I place it like that. I shouldn't have to, but that's how this is going right now. I get this plunger dealie lined up, and that's it. A firm push, and that seals those caps. So there's one more thing I have to do. Take your core key and make sure right now that that little cam activates. See how it moves? If it doesn't do that, you got a problem. Sometimes if it doesn't do that, just using the right key that's cut for that will actually loosen it up. So I'm going to make a key, which is this code. I highlighted that core. I put in my address, but that's the code I need. 7466-156. So there's only one way this goes in. There's a small lip right here that I'm catching. And that's on the leading edge of this thing right here. So I got to get it in there and just let it stop naturally. I'm not pushing it at all. The minute it gets to that little shoulder, it stops. Tighten it. This has to go all the way over. I'm going to let it rip. 7466-156. It's the only way you know that it works. Is you either cut a new key or have an existing key. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Later I'll stamp that key because you will never know. There's thousands of possibilities. You have to stamp your cores and your keys. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot. So there you go. That's how to pin up a core.